Hello guys, this is Utkarsh, and welcome to all of you to my YouTube channel, Way to Wisdom. This is the second video which I am recording on the topic which I think that is the most significant and most urgent topic of today's time for all of us living on this earth, that is climate change. So, I will discuss about the definition, the causes, and the phenomenons like greenhouse effect and greenhouse gases, and some shocking and amazing facts about climate change, and finally the solutions of climate change. So, coming to its first part, let's talk about the definition. What is climate change? So, first of all, we need to know what is climate. So climate is basically the long term effect of weather patterns. So climate is not a local phenomenon or a temporal phenomenon. Climate is a accumulation of many years of weather patterns, that is called climate. And the change in those patterns, the change in those long term effects of the weather patterns is called climate change. And why it is so urgent topic, or why it is so urgent phenomena that everyone is so concerned, because it has many effects which we will discuss later in this video. So coming to second part, what are the causes of climate change? So causes are basically of two types. One is natural causes and another is anthropogenic. And natural causes means created by nature, natural forces like solar activities or volcanic eruptions, or it could be any other phenomena. Or the second cause is anthropogenic. So what is anthropogenic? Anthro means humans. So anthropogenic means basically the caused by human activities like burning of fossil fuels, transportation industries, all that thing that you all know. So okay, so burning of, so we will talk about that anthropogenic, because this time climate change is totally man-made, totally anthropogenic. So we will discuss about what are those activities which causes climate change, like burning of fossil fuels. So what happens when we burn fossil fuels like petrol, diesel, oil? When we burn these, some gases emerges like carbon dioxide and methane, and these are greenhouse gases. And what are greenhouse gases and why are these called greenhouse gases, and what is greenhouse effect? We will discuss that in a separate video, because this is a complete topic which requires another video. So in brief, I will tell you, the greenhouse gases are the gases which covers our atmosphere, which covers the earth's atmosphere and act as a blanket, and mm, which does not allow to go back the heat radiations away from the earth's surface, and that traps the all the sun radiations that the earth acquires or captures throughout the day. So these greenhouse gases do not let them escape from the earth's surface. So gradually the temperature of earth rises, and that is called global warming. So day by day, gradually the average temperature of earth is rising. And what is that rise, I will discuss in later. Uh, what are those greenhouse gases? What are the sources of those greenhouse gases? The sources, as we know that the major sources of greenhouse gases are industries, transportation, and agriculture, housing, etc. are all those activities which produce these greenhouse gases. And now I will tell you some shocking facts about climate change that you all need to know, and everyone, as an Indian, as a conscious being on this earth, should know. So the first fact is that I have already told you, that the cause is anthropogenic. So humans are responsible for the last 200 years, since 1800. Since 1800, the humans are only the responsible for this climate change. And the second fact is, the average temperature of the earth's surface is has risen up to 1.2 degrees Celsius, and that is a very significant number, because before 1800, before industrial age, this was never so high. This was never above 1.2 degree Celsius, or and this 1.2 degree Celsius is warmer than any time in the past 1 lakh years. So this rise 1.2 degree Celsius is the highest rise in the past 1 lakh years. So this is a very alarming number, and we all need to worry about this. And if I talk about that, many of you would be thinking that 1.2 degree Celsius is a very small number. What will happen then? I would like to tell you that this small number is a very significant, because all the activities are related. All the earth activities, all the wind, all the pressure, all the systems is interconnected. And whenever one thing change in a whole system, then everything changes. Everything, the balance disappears. And many disasters happens, as we know. We happens to see them. uh, and the another fact is, the last decade, that is 2011 to 2020, was the warmest on record, and each of the last 4 decades has been warmer than any previous decade since 1850. So we can notice that day by day, each year, we are heading towards the warmer version. We are heading towards the warmer version of the earth. And the another fact is, the six biggest emitters, that in this on this earth, the biggest six emitters are: number 1 China, number 2 USA, number 3 India, number 4 European Union, number 5 Russian Federation, and number 6 Brazil. So these are the six biggest countries. These are the six countries that are six biggest emitters. And these emit almost more than 50% of the emissions of the global emissions are emitted by these six countries alone. And 45 least developed countries account only for 3% of global emissions. So this is a very interesting fact and very alarming fact that we all should know. So now, coming back to the solution of this climate change. Okay, now let me tell you what are the effects of climate change. The effects of climate change, as we can see like extreme weather events, like floods, and landslides, droughts, and burning fires in the forest, and many events, as you can read in the newspapers, that we uh, face these events. So these are all the result of climate change, and this climate change is the result of all the human activities. So what is the solutions to climate change? So number one is global frameworks and agreements to guide progress, such as SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, and Paris Agreement. So these are on the behalf of government. These are the government policies, or we can say. And the second solution is three broad categories, that is cutting emissions, adapting to climate impacts, and financing required adjustment. So basically, cutting emissions means we we need to stop the rate of our consumption. And like, we need to cut the production of transportation, the use of transportation vehicles. And we need to reduce our industrial consumption. All that consumption which produces greenhouse gases, we need to cut in them. We need to stop them, we need to regulate them. And another solution is financial support to those countries, those underdeveloped countries, so that they can adapt to the new lifestyles, the new solutions. That requires also um, a financial support. And this responsibility goes to the developed countries, because they are the biggest emitters and they have the money, so they need to invest that money to other developing countries or underdeveloped countries, so that they can adopt the impacts of climate change. And another solution is switching to renewable sources of power generation. Renewable sources, as you know, that solar plant, wind energy, solar energy, biomass energy, all these are the renewable sources of energy. So we need to switch the traditional sources of energy, like thermal power plant or all those power plants which consist the emission of greenhouse gases. So we need to switch to renewable sources of energy. But in the base of these solutions will be futile if we don't go to the ultimate solution, the real solution, and that is self knowledge. That's where the spirituality comes into its role. That is self knowledge, because until we know ourselves, we we can create many laws, many agreements, many international conferences, but until we know ourselves, we will not we will not generate a a sense of responsibility, a sense of awareness, or a sense of honesty. We will not The main thing is honesty, because we can make many rules, many agreements, but if we don't have honesty, we will not follow those rules. So the honesty is the most significant thing that we all need to develop in ourselves, and that will be developed by self knowledge, constantly reflecting towards ourselves. And because all the acts of this climate change is arise from our consumption, our greed, uh, our illusion that by consuming the nature, by consuming the resources in a very rampant way, we can satisfy ourselves. But this is not the reality. No one can satisfy himself. And there is a quotation from Gandhiji that in this nature there is sufficient for everyone's need, but not sufficient for anyone's greed. So we need to stop to be greedy. For that we need to go to spirituality, self knowledge, wisdom literature, so that we can understand that by limitless consumption of this nature, we can't satisfy ourselves. Rather, we need to understand ourselves, we need to understand this nature. That is the true and the fundamental solution to this global problem of climate change. So that's all from my side. Thank you guys. I hope you learned something from this video. You learned some facts, some insights from this video. So I hope you enjoyed, and let me know your suggestions and feedback through your comments. So bye, we'll meet in the next video. Thank you.